Hello, we will tell you about our study. Our theme is expansion of evolution. First, I will explain about evolution. Evolution is the extraction of nth root. We use two ways, Watson and Newton's method. Next, the purpose of our research. It's calculate reliability of nth root.
First, evolution using Watson. Watson is Japanese mathematics. The extraction of square root can be expressed like figure 1. The number I want to find square root is n, and the square root is 100a plus 10b plus c. When we find square root with the extraction of square root, n is divided from decimal point. I will show you example. First, the number is divided every 2 digits like this. Second, I figure out the answer. For this result, the square of 11,111 is 105. To confirm, I compare the magnitude with 105 squared, 106 squared, and 11,111. Then 11,111 is larger than 105 squared and smaller than 106 squared. So I found that this result is true. You can find square root with the extraction of square root. I'll show you the principle of the extraction of square root. The principle can be expressed like this. Let's compare this figure and the extraction of square root. They are common to red part, blue part, and green part respectively. Next, comparing this formula and the written calculation. It is a formula using only A, using B without C, and using C is common to first line, second line, and third line. Next, I'll explain the extraction of cubic root. The extraction of cubic root can be expressed like figure 4. When we found the cubic root with the extraction of cubic root, n is divided every 3 digits from decimal point. I'll show you the principle of the extraction of cubic root. The principle can be expressed like this. They are common to red part, blue part, and green part respectively. It is a formula using only A of this expansion, using B without C of it, and using C of it is common to first line, second line, and third line of this. When I thought the principle of the extraction of cubic root, it shows the same characteristics as the extraction of square root. In addition, by using this, I devised the extraction of fifth root. At this time, I let the number that I want to find fifth root be n, and the fifth root of n be 100a plus 10b plus c. I expected that each of formula using only a, using b without c, and using c of the fifth power of 100a plus 10b plus c is first line, second line, and third line of written calculation. Also, I think that n is divided every 5 digits from decimal point to calculate well. To confirm that it is true, I found the fifth root of this number and the exact values were obtained. We also conducted for the seventh power root and the exact values were obtained. By applying this, I devised the extraction of nth root. I expressed that the formula using only a, using b without c, and using c of the expansion of the nth power of 100a plus 10b plus c, and it is expressed this.
Second, evolution using Newton's method. Newton's method is the way figuring out approximate value of solution by using this formula. This time, I let number I want to find nth root and the nth root of mn be mn and alpha respectively. First, I let the function of x be x minus mn, and the x-coordinate of intersection of x-axis and y-axis be alpha. I set x0 arbitrarily and tangent in point coordinate x0 and fx0 is found. Then the tangent is displayed this. Next, I let the x-coordinate intersection of this tangent and x-axis be x1. An equation about relation between x0 and x1 can be expressed like this. By using this equation, x1 is figured out from x0. In this way, I figure out x1, x2, and the like from x0. The x-coordinate of intersection of the tangent and x-axis approaches alpha arithmetically. The approximate value of alpha, that is the value of nth root of mn, can be determined. Next, I try using this and figuring out nth root. I use programming with Python. The initial value is equivalent to x0. Now, I'd like to talk about consideration. As for the extraction of square root, I let the number I want to determine square root be mn when the square root of mn is one figure. mn is more than 1 and less than 100, so mn is one figure or two figures. And also when the square root of mn is two figures, mn is more than 100 and less than 10,000, so mn is 3 or 4 figures. For this thing, the number of digits of mn increased by 2 with increasing by 1 of number of digits of the square root of mn. In this way, as for the extraction of nth root, I think it can be calculated easily by dividing every n digit from decimal point. Finally, in conclusion, comparing the way of approximating Newton's method approximates from larger number than real number, but one thing using Watson from smaller one. These are references. Thank you for your attention.